So I don't know about you, but one of the things I really miss over the last year is traveling, specifically trips to New York, where Kevin and I would go and we would eat for days, so much amazing food. Well, I'm happy to say that I'm gonna bring New York into your kitchen, and I'm gonna show you how you can make a legit New York style pizza and get that nice big slice. So I'm using my stand mixer. You can also do this dough by hand, that is no problem at all. Into this, I'm going to add in my flour. Now I'm using bread flour. You can, however, use all-purpose flour. That's totally fine. You can do it 1 for 1. I like bread flour because it does make your pizza dough chewier and give it more of a bite. Next, we are going to add in a little bit of sugar. Now, yeast loves sugar. It feeds on it. So you want to add a little bit of that in there. After that, we're going to add in a little bit of salt on top of the sugar. Salt is super important, especially in bread doughs. So next we're going to add in our yeast. Now I use instant yeast that can be added straight into your dry ingredients. If you use active dried yeast, you're going to have to bloom that in your liquid. But for mine, I'm going to add it right in there. And then I'm just going to give it a quick mix up with my spoons. So those are our dry ingredients. Turn your machine on low. Let that mix up. Here I have my wet ingredients. So I've got some lukewarm water. You want the water to be lukewarm because yeast likes to be nice and warm. It helps it grow. So you want that to be nice and warm. And then also I've got some olive oil in there. So what you want to do is just add this into your machine as it runs. And we're going to add 3/4 of it, almost all of it. We're going to hold back a little bit because when it comes to making doughs, especially bread doughs, you don't always need all of the liquid. So just hold back a little bit in case you don't need it all. And if you do, add it in there. So I can see my dough is a little bit dry, so I'm just going to add in the rest of my water. Now what you're looking for is the same thing I say with all of my doughs. You're looking for the dough to come together, form one ball, and leave your bowl nice and clean. So a nice tight ball of dough. And if you're doing this by hand, it's super easy. Just knead it on a countertop for a few minutes, get a good workout in. But as you can see, just like this, my dough has come together, my bowl is clean, so I'm going to turn it off. So now here's the thing with this dough, you let it sit in your fridge overnight. It can actually be in your fridge for up to 4 days. So what I'm going to do is cut the dough into 3 balls of around 12 ounces, put them into Ziploc bags or into Tupperware containers and pop them into the fridge and let it rest and rise overnight. And then I'm going to come back tomorrow and we're going to make some delicious New York style pizza. So it has been a day and our pizza dough is nice and rested. That's what I love about this. You make it the day before, leave it overnight, and then you have it ready to go the next day, so way less work. So to roll your pizza, you just want to flour your surface. You can also use semolina flour, that works really well too. I like to use that sometimes. Now here's what I do with my pizza doughs. I use a rolling pin. Now I know for those pizza aficionados out there, you always do it by hand. However, I always get the best results when I do it by a rolling pin. I don't know what it is, so do whatever works for you. But just roll this pizza out nice and big. Remember, this is a New York style pizza. You want those big slices. So roll it out nice and big. And you know, if you only want to make 1 pizza and you've got 2 doughs left over, pop them in the freezer. It also freezes really well. You'll notice when you're rolling this dough, it's really lovely to work with. It's soft, it just rolls so easily, it's pliable. So get this to as big as you can, around maybe like 12 to 14. If you get it to 16 inches, that's totally fine. Nice big pizza. Okay, lovely. Now I'm just going to slide it onto my tray before I top it. When I was a young baker and I used to make pizzas on the weekend, I used to make my pizza, I used to top it and then try and get it onto the tray, and it doesn't work. So get your dough onto the tray, then top your pizza. And less is more. So I'm keeping it pretty simple with my toppings. I am going pizza sauce. This is actually my own 5-minute pizza sauce. It's on my website. You make it in a blender in no time at all. It's really fantastic. You don't need to cook it. Then I'm going to add lots of mozzarella cheese. And something that I love since I moved to the United States is the flavor of dried herbs on pizza. It just reminds me of that like New York style pizzeria, big slice, eating it on the street kind of situation.
So you never put oregano on pizza?
No, it's just not something that I ever had on pizzas. Like we did cheese and our toppings or whatever. We never had like dried herbs. I know in America, like you can buy the little jars of like dried Italian herbs and that's what you put on pizza. I just never had that before. There you go. It's so little work the next day because you did all the work the day before. Now we're going to pop this pizza into a nice hot oven. Bake your pizza off in a nice hot oven, 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 250 degrees Celsius for roughly 12 to 15 minutes or so to make sure it's nice and crispy on the crust. In my opinion, there's not a whole lot of things better than pizza fresh out of the oven. Check this out. It's lovely golden brown, it's bubbly, it looks kind of greasy, which is what I love about New York style pizza. So I'm just gonna cut it up. Kevin, come on in, you're my taste tester.
Oh, Gem, I'm excited here.
I'm gonna put on some chili flakes.
Yep.
And then Zach said that you put on Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
Dried Parmesan cheese, which we do not have in this house.
I know, it should be the little shaker.
No,
here.
no, this is what you're getting.
Okay.
And Kevin, I think, so from what I've heard, New York style pizza, it has to be kind of floppy on the end.
Yeah.
And then you kind of fold it in the middle like this.
Absolutely, that's what we do when we visit.
Oh my gosh. So yummy.
Gem, you can't beat a New York slice. Definitely want to go back, but this is so good.
So good. A little bit of New York in your kitchen. Such easy dough to make. Definitely try it out. You will not be disappointed.
It's awesome, Gem. Next time, pepperoni.
Yep, pepperoni.
Love it.